I told my daughter how much money I had in savings. I thought it would reassure her, let her know I was taken care of, that she didn't need to worry. Within 6 months, every family conversation somehow circled back to that number. Who would get what? Whether I was spending too much, whether I needed help managing things. I didn't need help. I needed to have kept my mouth shut. I'm 77 years old, and in those 77 years, I've made a lot of mistakes. Some of them cost me money, some of them cost me time. But the ones that cost me the most, the ones that kept me up at night, were the mistakes I made with words. Specifically, with the wrong words shared with the wrong people at the wrong time. Now, I want to be clear about something before we go any further. This video is not about being secretive. It's not about hiding who you are or being dishonest with the people you love. I believe in honesty. I've lived by it. But there's a difference between honesty and full disclosure, between being open and being unguarded. And after 65, that difference matters more than it ever did before. Because here's what changes after 65. The stakes are different. Your savings are fixed. Your health is more visible. Your emotions sit closer to the surface. And the people around you, even the ones who love you, have their own fears, their own agendas, their own anxieties about what your aging means for them. That's not cynicism. That's just life. So today, I want to share 4 things, 4 categories of information that I've learned, sometimes painfully, to keep close, to protect, not out of shame, but out of wisdom. Stay with me through all 4, because the 4th one is the one most people never expect, and it's the one I regret most deeply. And before I get to secret number 2, I want to plant something in your mind. There's a pattern behind all 4 of these, one underlying reason why sharing certain things after 65 backfires almost every time. I'll name it explicitly about halfway through. Once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. The first thing you should never share in detail with your family is the full picture of your finances. Not because your family doesn't love you, but because money changes people. Not always dramatically, not always consciously, but it changes them. I'm not talking about hiding that you're struggling. If you genuinely need help, ask for it. That's different. I'm talking about volunteering the specifics, the account balances, the exact value of the house, the details of the will before it's time. My friend Lawrence, he's 73, lives in Tennessee, told his 2 sons exactly what he was worth about 4 years before he passed his wife's estate along. He thought it would reduce conflict later, give them time to prepare. What actually happened, the older son started calling more often, seemed attentive, loving, but every few months there was a new opportunity he wanted Lawrence to invest in, a real estate deal, a business idea, always just needing a little seed money. Lawrence told me I couldn't tell anymore if he was calling because he loved me or because he was doing the math. That doubt, that corrosive, quiet doubt, is one of the saddest things that can happen in a family. And Lawrence brought it on himself unintentionally by saying too much too soon. Keep your financial specifics between yourself, your attorney, and your financial advisor. Let the will speak when it's time. Before then, a simple "I'm taken care of" is enough. It's honest, and it protects everyone, including them. The second thing to guard carefully is the full details of your health. Again, I'm not saying lie. If something serious is happening, the people who love you deserve to know in broad terms. That's fair, that's right. But there's a difference between "I've been having some heart issues and the doctor is monitoring it," and sharing every test result, every medication dosage, every number from every appointment. Here's what happens when you overshare your health details with family after 65. You hand them a level of control they didn't ask for and aren't equipped to handle. Suddenly, your daughter is researching your medication online at midnight and calling you with questions your doctor already answered. Your son is suggesting you move closer. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone is worried. And you spend more energy managing their worry than you spend actually taking care of yourself.
My neighbor Frank went through this after his bypass surgery. He shared everything with his 3 kids, every detail, every follow-up appointment, every small setback. He thought it would make them feel included. What it did was turn him, in their eyes, from their father into a patient, from a man into a condition to be managed. He told me one afternoon, quietly, "I feel like I disappeared, like I'm just a problem they're trying to solve." You are not a problem to be solved. You are a person to be respected. Share what is necessary. Keep the rest as your own. Your health is yours. We're halfway through, and I promised you a pattern, the one thread that connects all 4 of these. Here it is. Every time you overshare after 65, you are, without meaning to, handing someone else a role in your story. And once they have that role, it's very hard to take back. The financial details hand them the financial stakeholder. The health details hand them the caretaker. And the next 2, these are subtler, but in some ways more damaging, because they reach into the parts of you that are most private, most human.
The third thing to keep private is the depth of your loneliness, or the struggles in your closest relationships, past and present. I know that might sound cold. We live in a time when people share everything, when being vulnerable is praised. And I believe in vulnerability, between the right people at the right time. But here's what I've seen happen when older parents share too much about feeling lonely, or about old wounds in marriages, or about regrets in relationships. Their children don't know what to do with it. They're not therapists, they're not equipped, and so one of 2 things happens. Either they feel guilty, like they should be doing more, visiting more, calling more, and that guilt quietly poisons the relationship, or they minimize it. They say, "Oh, Dad, you're fine," or "That was so long ago," and you feel more alone than before you said anything. My own experience, after my wife passed, I went through about 8 months of real darkness, real loneliness, and I made the mistake of letting my daughter see too much of it. Not the grief, which was appropriate to share, but the daily texture of it, the empty evenings, the meals eaten alone, the way Sundays felt like they lasted 3 days. She started calling every night to check on me, which sounds sweet, but I could hear the anxiety in her voice every single time. She was waiting for me to fall apart, and I spent those calls trying to reassure her, when what I needed was to sit with my own process. What helped me, genuinely helped me, was finding one friend who had also lost a spouse, a man named Carl from my church. We'd meet for coffee twice a week, and we didn't fix anything. We just told the truth to each other, 2 men who understood without explanation. If you are lonely, find your Carl. Find a peer, a group, a counselor, someone who can hold it properly. Your children love you, but they cannot be your emotional support system without it costing both of you something. And now the 4th one, the one I promised, the one I regret most. Never share your regrets about your choices as a parent. I know, that one lands differently. Let me explain. A few years ago, in a moment of real openness, it was late, we'd had a good dinner, my son and I were talking the way we almost never talked. I told him something I'd carried for years, that I regretted working so much when he was young, that I missed things I couldn't get back, his childhood games, evenings at home, just being present. I said it because I meant it, because I wanted him to know I saw it, that I wasn't blind to my own failures. His face changed, not to forgiveness, not to relief, to pain, because what he heard underneath what I meant was this: those years were as bad as he remembered. His father confirms it. The thing he'd half convinced himself wasn't that significant actually was. I gave him my guilt, and he's been carrying some version of it ever since.
I have talked to other men who did the same thing, confessed their parenting regrets to their adult children in the name of honesty, and almost every time the result was the same: not healing, not closure, a reopened wound that the child now had to tend. If you have regrets, and most of us do, process them privately, with a counselor, with God if that's your way, with a journal, with a trusted friend who isn't your child. Your children don't need your confession. They need your presence, your steadiness, the best version of you that's available right now, today. The past cannot be corrected with words, only with how you live going forward. That's the one I wish someone had told me 30 years ago. Here is what I want you to do today. Just one thing. Think of one thing you've been considering sharing with a family member. Something financial, something about your health, something emotional, something from the past. Just one thing. And before you share it, ask yourself this single question: am I sharing this for me or for them? If the honest answer is for me, to relieve my guilt, to be understood, to unburden myself, then find another place for it: a friend, a journal, a professional, someone who can hold it properly. If the answer is for them, because they genuinely need this information to help you, to plan, to be safe, then share it, with care, with boundaries, but share it. That one question has saved me more grief than almost anything else I've learned at 77.
I want to ask you something personal. You don't have to answer out loud, just sit with it. Is there something you've already shared that you wish you hadn't? Or something you've been holding back and you're not sure if you should? Leave a comment if you're willing. Not the details, just whether this landed for you. Because I think more of us are carrying this than we let on. And next time, I want to talk about the one conversation every man over 65 needs to have with himself before he can have it with anyone else. It's about identity, about who you are when the roles fall away. That one is close to my heart. I'll see you then.